teams going far in tournaments, this is a little bit of untreaded ground.
That's an interesting strategy to dodge the most dominant team. You know, just stay in the lower bracket. They're never there.
Exactly.
Upper brackets for somebody. You know, I won't complete that, but Matthew will also not complete the snowball. And then snowball level 1, I think it hurts a little bit on this lane. I mean, you really want to get this like shard. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Shard or snowball into the tag team level 2 is the timing you're looking for to burst this Weaver. And we're looking at a carry player in dota2 who has arguably been the most aggressive carry player we've seen come out in the last few years. One of the most aggressive carry heroes that, dare I say it, has a history of falling a little short at TI clutch matches. I feel like this Weaver always pops off, but it's a different than getting that win. And of course, it's a very different Weaver than a lot of these past tournaments. I mean, this is a hero that scales a lot better, and the damage just ramps up considerably, especially level 20 and 25 talents. It's a long way away, but the Geminate just starts to pound you into the dirt. It's like, what, plus 90 with the level 20 talent, plus 65 now with the buffs. You're looking at over 150 bonus damage per Geminate that can also proc off the Shard. Sakuchi going through everybody. It's just a whirlwind of pain. So that is what dota2 is looking to get towards here, hopefully with as little deaths as possible. There I caster curse him. And EG coming out with their own pace. Shaker last pick mid to combat the Pango. Of course, only one of those heroes is real, as I mentioned.
Yeah, it's, well, we have interesting carries on both sides. I think Weaver and Dark Willow are a little unexplored in the current meta. We could definitely do a little bit more digging on those heroes. This mid matchup, it's the same old that we've seen so many times. As you said, Pango, not a real hero. Earthshaker also being spammed in the mid lane quite a bit. So
it's so funny he like complains about it, and then he just plays it every game. What can you do? You know, I mean, it is a great Pango game. There's a reason they picked it, right? Very limited Rolling Thunder control on the side of EG. And it's another AoE stun hero to deal with the Dark Willow, pull you out of the Shadow Realm, and then just burst you down. The mana burn, also pretty substantial this game. You can get a fast defusal, right? You're looking at a lot of melee strength heroes for EG that just don't like losing their mana pool. So I kind of like what the Pango does here for gaming. And it's a lot of AoE control between the Pango and the Tofu Invoker here.
I will say, though, you said it's not the best Rolling Thunder game. I will say he's going to have to be a good driver for it to be a good Rolling Thunder game, because he is going to have to deal with Fissures, Ice Shards, and then there is going to be the Overgrowth that's going to be popping up. But popping up, Whisper pops up in the top lane, gets a kill on Celery. So while this is a kill duo for sure, the Dawnbreaker Tusk, Weaver is going to be a hard hero to lock down. That Enchantress, not nearly as hard.
This is a very strong kill lane, and Enchantress generally suffers versus those lanes. I mean, your nature's attendants are only as good as you can stay alive for them to heal you. You just get bursted down in a second, you're absolutely gone, and that's a first blood to Whisper. Honestly, I feel like Whisper's had a quieter season than we expect from him. Yep. And I think this is time to show up or go home, right? So he has been one of the cornerstones for his team, one of the linchpins. Give him a fast start on a very powerful hero in the Dawnbreaker. He might just run away with it here.
Do you think maybe part of that is because of the player we just saw on the screen there, because who's going to be rocking the carry Dark Willow in this game? I mean, this South American squad was put together, for my money, it was the two superstars from South America put on the same team together. Because on one side, Whisper on the other. Do you think by doing that, it has maybe hurt Whisper's game a little bit more? As they're going to try and go on Ace here. The Bristleback try and shut him down early, and they do just that. Because and Panda pick up a counter kill.
I mean, that was just too easy, right? They still have full wand charges down here. Put into life, and we're seeing the dominance of the Dark Willow in terms of the laning phase. This hero is very powerful on lane with the low BAT and just the high base damage. Very hard to trade versus. I kind of agree. The one thing about that, though, is, you know, you could say, well, maybe Whisper's game's been hurt because Kaz takes more farm, but I feel like Whisper played with arguably the one carry that was even greedier than Bakaz for most of his career. So if anything, he should have more room to operate with Bakaz on his team instead of Hector, but it just hasn't panned out. So this is, again, time to show up. I'm excited to see what they can pull out in this game. And for me, EG has two modes, especially going up against gaming. There's the mode where they play ultra fast with like the bounty hunter type lineup. We're just going to dominate the lanes, run at you. The game's over in 20 minutes. This is the other mode where it's a bit more patient, a bit more consistent with just team fight execution. Like, we're just going to out team fight you in the mid game with big Dawnbreaker ultimate coming through, Earthshaker controlling the fights, and then Dark Willow on Bakaz to help bring up the scale, especially against the Bristle. And if the lanes go their way, that's just even better.
But C-Smile is here to be able to block out Ace, and he gets him. Now the Tornado's going to help. They actually managed to get a kill on Celery on the other side, but Ace is still dead. So great rotation from C-Smile. Just the extra bit of damage they needed. Bakaz, meanwhile, hiding away from Tofu, tried to hunt him down. Meanwhile, the fight's still going up there in the top lane as they trade out kills. Both supports do die. dota2 chasing after Whisper, trying to get some extra damage on him with the Hellbear.
He's going to clap him.
Yeah, if he gets the clap and he still has this bug on him, it's going to be a ton of damage. Whisper tries to turn around and get the damage on dota2, but dota2 scoots on by, turns around, picks up that double.
Big turnaround for dota2 up here. This lane was not going extremely well for Gaming, especially with the first one on Whisper, so they get the double turnaround, whereas bottom, Ace still struggling. But honestly, I mean, if you get some stacks up for the Bristle and EG can't contest them that easily, you can always come back. So I don't know if the early start for Ace means too much. It's nice for Macaws for sure. He's just trying to rush the Midas down here. That's what you have to be worried about. You cannot give too many kills to the Dark Willow.
Early gold, early levels, and getting kills will speed that along because it's to be part of yet another one. I mean, part of the reason you want to rush that Midas, right, is the levels. The talent levels are super important for this hero.
I've said it all year, right? This is the best Midas hero in the game to me. Yep. The attack speed is invaluable. The levels are invaluable. Though I will say, he's skilled a point of Curse Crown, Cap.
Oh yeah, what is that? That's supposed to be levels of stats.
Yeah,
Come on.
Clearly didn't watch the last series, if anything. Maybe Paz playing his own version.
Maybe that's for the best.
Yeah.
5-2, Evil Geniuses may have a kill lead, but they do not have a gold lead, and that is something that Gaming Gladiators have pulled the wool over a lot of different teams
the Centaur.
in the past. The Centaur game.
The backstab.
Coming around from behind because didn't see that one coming. Not that he's going to be too punished for it. Maybe will. He actually runs back in his cellar with the Wolf.
This is your Vanguard Bristle timing, so Gaming are just trying to collapse with Ace, force the pressure point, and if you use the fact that Willow is not great in these numbers fights.
Does have a wand, pops it, be able to get off the Shadow Realm, but the Tornado is going to help finish him off, and Panda is here on an island now with the creep wave pushing in. Now, like, with these kills raining in on both sides, these side lanes are getting crazy hectic.
Radiant structure.
Does lead dota2 in that 1-on-2, and he will get punished with the single target burst coming out. And it's a tough lane for Weaver, honestly. You mess up one Sakuchi up here, you're just gone. So Whisper's going to have a very strong start. Macaws gets forced off the lane. Now it's a question of, do you go back to bottom here? Your tower's just gone. Macaws is going to TP in. He wants to defend this. The tower basically paid the price off the catapult. It's just a question of, can you get something in return? And they'll gobble up celery. So some more levels for Macaws. And it puts Gaming in a position of, do you run back down here with the Vanguard Bristle once more to finish off this tower and kick Macaws out again? And if you EG, you can't provide another death on this Dark Willow.
Yeah. There is, both teams are definitely going to be assaulting this bottom lane, I think. And that kill actually puts our Treant Protector to some pretty key levels. I think, you know, you get to level 3, you have 1-2-0, but then after that, you can actually start getting those levels in living armor, which will help the Dark Willow, but also help protect his tower. See Smile to be a victim here of the first rolling thunder. Matthew is going to try and come in and help him out here, though. What can he really do? Does he snowball, pick him up? But then they're going to be next to the tower, straight up for a tornado EMP. The Dawnbreaker ultimate, though, it's going to come in. A little bit of heals. It's not enough. You're stuck inside. They block off the rest, so they're not pursued, but ultimately they do still lose their mid laner despite heavy rotations and an ultimate use from Whisper.
That was a lot of resources off this dual off lane that yielded nothing here. They're going to bring Panda into mid on the bottom wall. Matthew's just going to die to dota2 top. Pretty much a disaster in mid for EG here.
This is not going well. Matthew will make him reach for it, but ultimately they do still get that kill. 7-5, it's Gaming Gladiators by fight a 6th kill. Back to back to back. They are just running over Evil Geniuses in this middle area. Panda will be able to get away to the trees, thankfully, and heal himself up a little bit, but
this was the alternative to making that second move bottom. Just let Ace clean it up on his own because all the skirmishing mid brings the supports, and this is just a more efficient way to do it, right?
Now they're going to try and cut off Macaws. Quinn on the hunt, but didn't quite spot the Dark Willow due to the part it's nighttime.
And this is where Dark Willow suffers. If you lose your tower fast, you get forced in the jungle.
Now they see him underneath the ward, but he is caught inside the brambles. Quinn's going to take a lot of damage here. And it's going to pursue, but Macaws cannot afford another death, and that leaves Panda alone. Threatening to terrorize, ultimately doesn't throw it out. Cannot save Panda, cannot save their tower, and C-Smile's rotation may only net them this support kill. They're going to be able to get him with the Dusk, but now the Rolling Thunder is going to be troublesome. Bouncing back off the cliff, C-Smile trying to get a clip push off, does manage to get that. They have to chase away Ace though. That damage was beginning to build up from the Quills. So, Terrorize put to use. Gaming Gladiators just forcing reaction.
I mean, what's happening top?
Getting so much. They're going to get a tower out of this. They have to get kills off this. They cannot afford to be losing towers for nothing. They will punish Celery, and they get dota2 next.
No way, he still has ult up. Skelly Boy's just doing the work here while everybody's distracted. Quick bottle refill into mid. The efficiency in this early game is really nice for gaming right now. As we pick up the pace, and again, just straight into C Smile. EG just can't solidify the map right now.
No, they are constantly scrambling to try and save somebody, and not quite enough. And Quinn
should have played more Pango.
Buckle means that now he's going to be nailed by that Solar Guardian. He's going to be chains done. Goodbye. 10 minutes in, finally, Evil Geniuses get a little something to work with, though the damage is done already. They have a Treant Protector, and they've lost both their side lane towers.
It's a big misstep, right? When you're rolling these early games like this, it's all about momentum, especially based on the supports around your mid hero. That's a big swing. It gives some breathing room for EG in what was turning just to be a rout on that laning phase. And what I was mentioning is, for Pakaz, when there's this much early tower pressure, Dark Willow's not a hero who wants to be forced into the jungle super early, right? You don't have some crazy farm spell in Glaives or Sven Cleave or something.
You want your hand of Midas.
Yeah, and
right?
then you're okay
or you
getting
can go
there.
jungle.
But it's a slow hero, and I think this Bristle pick, exploiting the fact that you have Enchantress to back it up, so you're pressuring both tier 1s on equal sides of the map. It's not a situation Pakaz can respond accordingly to, whereas dota2, he's going to be happy to join all these fights on. He comes in, he throws a bug out. You have good minus armor synergy.
Nailed him. And that's one great thing about the Dark Willow. Later on, might have a hard time being able to kill Seller with the Untouchable, but early on, you've got this Bedlam that'll get you free kills on an Enchantress every time. Maybe support on support. Dark Willow's really nice.
I do think it's a very good Dark Willow game. If Pakaz can get there, he's going to wreak some havoc in the fight. The question is, can you get there? And right now, Game and Cores are pulling out ahead. And the thing is, if you misstep on this map once, Roshan is going to melt, right? You have Goo, you have the bug from Weaver, you have Alacrity from Evoker later on in the game.
Untouchable to be able to tank the Roshan.
Lucky shot. I mean, there's a lot of minus armor poke that comes through for this gaming lineup. Even just the single point in Goo that hits you, it got buffed, right? It's a lot of minus armor straight off the bat, even with the low levels here. It hurts.
Bouncing around once again. Rolling Thunder will find more and more kills. Gaming Gladiators. Now they're going to put some pressure on this mid tower. This is something Evil Geniuses cannot afford to give up, but can they stop it?
No way.
While being gone, and too many heroes here, all 5. I mean, I love the fact that Gaming Gladiators make a move like that, right? Getting the pick off, but then just bringing all 5 and saying, go ahead, fight us.
There's not a lot of zone control for EG, especially dealing with the Enchantress summons this early, and they know the Weaver can rotate and keep these towers up, and that's a lot of minus value for the Treant lineup here. Treant would prefer to fight around these towers. It's not just about living armor healing them up. It's like, how does they get a good fight with overgrowth, right? A lot of the way you do it is you take defensive fights around your tier 1s where the enemies dive you, and it sets up Treant spells. All 3 tier 1s gone by 12 minutes. This is looking like a classic gaming game of we're just going to run through the objective so fast you don't have a chance to respond. And it's Ace leading the pack. A very good sign for them, as he has been the linchpin for this team's success all year, right?
Yep. In fact, yeah, Gaming Gladiators, their run through the majors early on in the season was based around a lot of the fact they just figured out like what Ace needed to play to give them the win condition at the time. Do you feel like that changed, though, in the recent meta?
I mean, for sure. A lot of that hero pool was summons heroes, it was aura builders, it was things like the Underlord that he was almost undefeated on. Where are any of those heroes now, right? They're gone. So you have to kind of adapt pull these new heroes in to make them work for you. We're starting to see it with things like the Primal Beast and the Bristleback. That is something gaming have had to adjust. It changes a lot of your itemization across the board. EG will go for a quick pickoff here on the support Zoger, of course. Damn, that is a big swing there from Whisper.
It always surprised me how much damage that does, but he does have a 1-4-4 build, so very much focused on being able to throw out that damage. You need to go for an early game Blade Mail, start working towards Echo Saber, BKB. Blink Dagger, though, finally up for Evil Geniuses, and this is where we could see Evil Geniuses do more than just find a single hero pickoff. Got their team fight hero online with a Blink Dagger. They're going to smoke up almost immediately with 3 heroes.
It's a decent time to fight if you didn't have the shielder on Quinn right now, who just finished the Fusel, because Ace is clearing through the Ancient stack. So he's kind of taking the defensive orientation on the map. You get these towers down and you go back to your side of the map. It does give space to EG. Can they find
have vision of dota2 right now. He's sitting underneath both a ward and a sentry.
I mean, this is the dream.
Shikuchis. This is a perfect
Echo him on the stack.
Geniuses. Yeah, they're just going to catch him with the Echo. It doesn't have to be on the stack as long as they get him stunned right now. Mid-Shikuchi, chain that stun, and finish him off. Evil Geniuses. Blink Dagger reveal nets them a very big pickoff on the enemy carry.
Pretty much what C-Smile wanted with this Blink. Get a big core kill. Quinn's gonna try and turn it back. Arcane Rune.
Oh, Ice Shards tried to stop the Rolling Thunder from being able to catch Because, but it just wasn't quite good enough. Because overgrowth and the Fissure block, but the support damage is there to help get the kill on Because, and Matthew a little bit late there on the snowball to save Because as a result. And Quinn's feeling good. He's got an Arcane Rune, so he's just gonna keep on chasing.
They're gonna bring Whisper in. No Dawnbreaker ultimate to join the fight. He's gonna have to do it the hard way. They have the burst for Tofu.
Beautiful. Fissure actually catches 2 more on top of the kill onto Tofu, so maybe separating Quinn from his support, they can focus down Celery up next. Big hit from Whisper will finish him off. Dominating for Whisper. Yeah, you were right, Avery. Now's the time for Whisper to pop off, and he is doing it right when his team needs him most.
5, 1, and 3 in 15 minutes. He's got to lead the fights. He's the one hero for EG having a tremendous game here, and it's going to be catch-up duty for Because with this Midas. C-Smile also had a very slow early game, but of course, these are heroes that you kind of expect to be behind in this game if you're EG, right? Versus Enchantress with the start that Bristle had, maybe the lanes go a little better for you, but the objectives, there's just no easy way to defend it. So you're going to play with less map, you're going to play from behind, but you can take those types of fights with this lineup that has a lot of turnaround, and that's something in gaming you're going to have to think about. That exact type of fight bottom, how far do you extend into Overgrowth, Tusk, Snowball, and Shards, Fissure block?
This skill would be massive if they can get it. He's used with Swashbuckle. There goes his mobility, and there goes his health pool.
Yeah.
Got it in an instant.
That is what EG are looking for right now, and you can't split up too much of your gaming. You own a lot of the map. Can you be this greedy on it, right? That's the big question, at least before big defensive items come out. I mean, Ace, probably a hard target to go on, but even then, that's what this Tusk pick is designed to do with Max Tag Team. Give you the physical threat. Prevent Ace from just controlling all of the map.
And Ace is about to, like, with his Aghanim Scepter now complete, and then I feel like once you get the Shard, that completes the sort of run at you territory. It's very hard to turn around and kill this hero, and he can chase you down pretty easily by leading with that Shard. Tons of burst damage to follow it up. So Gaming Gladiators could definitely, you know, solidify things a little bit more by playing with Ace. But Evil Geniuses, I'm sure, they're well prepared for that kind of action.
And the front line is going to be important for gaming because it is Ace, and it's kind of only Ace. You don't want the Pangoleir getting jumped first in the fight, and you definitely don't want the Weaver getting jumped first, especially when dota2 just went Desolator. This is a very aggressive Weaver itemization here. It's not some early BKB, it's not more stats, it's just raw damage, more minus armor amp to go along with everything else they have too. That's the part that's super nice here, right? The physical synergy is just off the charts for gaming. If it lines up on any core hero, there's not a lot of armor outside of the living armor here for EG. Dark Willow not exactly known for buffing up the physical resistance, so you're gonna melt. And Roshan, yeah, it's gonna be very fast and very early. This was a gimme, right?
I think that death on Quinn was definitely a moment of reflection for Game Gladiators. So it was like, okay, we've been greedy enough trying to play all 3 lanes and play very deep on the enemy side of the map. Let's go ahead and regroup a little bit. We'll focus on the objectives. They'll take the Aegis for their side, give it over to Quinn. So now he can play a little bit more frontline.
Yeah, you know, he dies once. Won't happen again. That might have been the fastest Roche under 20 minutes of the tournament.
Yeah,
that thing had minus 33 armor on it. At 17 minutes, that is ridiculous. Gaming, they're going to try and translate this Aegis into more, right? This is not a team that generally sits back with their objectives timing. They want to translate them around Ace's timings and up the pressure, especially if they can stay on EG's side of the map without giving pickoffs. They're going to be really happy about limiting Pakaz's space, which again, he's not on one of these heroes that can shove lanes out quickly like a Sven or make up for the lack of room. At some point, you're just going to have to fight the back.
Like this positioning from Gaming Gladiators, just taking away the double ancient camps here on the left side of the map.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Whisper, though, I mean, they do have this global capacity where Whisper can at least always play away from his team, so he's trying to really farm up that bottom part of the map. He's got his Echo Saber working towards the BKB. They're definitely focusing on a later game timing. The Aghanim Scepter is almost done for the Dark Willow, though. In fact, he could buy it out as soon as the courier actually gets to the secret shop, which is all dark right now for Evil Genius.
For EG, I feel like you almost want gaming to run past a tier 2 or something. Give you the fight setup.
Panda, but they do have the stun there. Tofu reaches down, but even still, double damage on Quinn helps.
This is not a fight. Double damage Aegis.
Tower is under attack.
Means you're just going to give up more of the map. This is a ticking time bomb. Like, you can definitely turn this game around if you need to be. At a certain point, you bend, don't break, get that one team fight, then reopen the map.
Structures are fortified.
But right now, I mean, do you want to go into this ball?
Well, do you feel like this version of Weaver scales?
I think he scales better than some of the previous versions for sure.
Okay.
The new shard plus the talents for the Geminate hits real damn hard. Hero can be really scary in the late game. I think it is still a hero that's susceptible to getting bursted, and maybe he's not as terrifying in an overall team fight. But when you have some of these other cores that can help pick up the physical damage slack, then he's just great because the bug goes through. Suddenly Pango and Bristle are having a field day, right? Yeah. You're amping the damage of everybody on this team. That's what's really nice about the gaming lineup. The scaling synergy is nothing to scoff at. We're gonna make a quick smoke, try and control all the ancients here. To limit Pakaz's room.
Paz.
Yeah. Get caught.
Yep, they're gonna hit him with the tornado. Team has to respond here. Shadow Realm TP away, but the cold snap was still on him, so he couldn't actually complete that one. Well, here comes that Rolling Thunder. Overgrowth is gonna be able to stop him. Snowball, though, didn't go through. He's actually on to Quinn, so he wasn't in a position to be able to pick him up. Oh, the Purple Sam goes in, almost enough for his damage. Matthew is there with the final punch, but it is a blow that is good for EG, but the fight is not. EG is going to lose more members here, as they've already lost the 2. Looks like Quinn, he's searching for more. He's like, you guys got this kill, right? All good. I'm gonna look for a 4th kill out on the map. Maybe they were a little bit too greedy here. Does not have a TP though, so he's gonna be dying.
21-minute wisdom.
Finds him with the quills. Oh, Panda! Panda, get it! Okay.
What?
Hey, he got the wisdom rune. It gives up his life to get the experience for himself and his team.
I don't know how many players get that rune in that situation, but Ace gives him a little bit of a freebie.
Middle tower is under attack.
Speaking of freebies, one thing about this Bristleback, Tormentor is always a freebie for him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's going to be a nice grab. Map control paying off for gaming as they continue to run through these. A little bit of a weird death for Dyrachyo. I think he time-lapsed super early. Just didn't line it up. Does get a Deso charge out of that fight, however. And, I mean, he gets to BKB. He's kind of invincible unless you straight burst him off the Echo, which we've seen. There's a lot of interrupt with the Shaker jump in this game. Until C-Smile has his own BKB. It's not necessarily reliable. They're just going on with the burst the Invoker. Burst the Pangoleir if he's not the one getting caught. So BKB timing's really important for EG here, particularly when they come out relative to Dyrachyo's. And I mean, Bloodstone already done for Ace. He's big.
The BKB combined with the shard especially, allowing him to be super aggressive. Good kill if they can get it, but he's already popped the time lapse, and that's going to pull Matthew way out of position and up on top of the cliff. He'll wave goodbye, spotted with the Sunstrike, but nobody's close with done. Still looking to be able to chase down some heroes. They know Whisper has got to be somewhere close, and they got him with the goo. So he's going to be slowed down significantly, trying to get away with that hammer. Panda will cover him with a bit more slows, but the bug is going to latch. No vision of Whisper there. Take the fight. Agents right now. On the Quinn. Right as the Agents has run out, he's in trouble. He's already dead. Oh, what a turn. It's Pakaz in good position, but look at Dyrachyo and Ace. They're both hunting on the Pakaz right now, trying to finish him up with the quills. Dyrachyo commits into the base. He goes to finish off the enemy carry, but another Shadow Realm. Dyrachyo's trouble now. No, he's overextended himself. Instead of getting the kill on the enemy carry, he's got himself killed instead. Panda is going to be left alone here with the damage to push all the way back inside the base. EG can't really keep this good situation going for them.
They're feeling it bounding, coming back.
Okay, a punch up in the air does get him killed, but Ace is way far forward, and there are too many members of Evil Geniuses. He has stumbled into all of this. Now it just leaves Celery all alone. Now we did get that shard from the Tormentor. That'll help him get a little bit of distance here.
Now you're looking
but
for the
surely
wipe.
A Blink Dagger, a Hammer, and they'll finish him off.
Just a matter of time here. The physical burst. Winning EG a fight on the turnaround. They won't get the wipe, but I mean,
the fight was so delayed that Gaming Gladiators heroes were up all again.
I mean, they're super happy with that, especially Pakaz, right? He gets the Weaver kill, doesn't even die here, and just everything on that turnaround was great because the Ace expired the second C-Smile jumps in with that Echo Slam. They had it down to a T there as Gaming were trying to force that fight, and you can't really blame them, right? They're trying to make the most out of this duration running out. It's just the smoke on the other side. They weren't expecting it catches to. It does get disrupted by the tornado, but it doesn't matter. You have enough lockdown to follow it up, and it's just about running down the supports while you can. And this Bramble into Shadow Realm coming up for Pakaz is just perfect.
So massive.
Precious bones.
So massive that he gets this kill. You can see how much gold he got out of that. We saw at the end, the chart, he got the most gold and most experience out of anybody in that fight. Massive win for this hard carry Willow that is only going to get stronger and stronger.
I mean, I talked about the combination Dyrachyo on a Weaver, right? It has to be one of the most explosive combinations in Dota right now.
Yep.
It's just, you know he's going to have some deaths on the hero at the same time. He's going to go in super aggressively and make a huge amount of space. It's just a nice edge.
Yeah, he is a man who rides that line constantly.
Exactly.
And he surely was confident going into this series because he has been playing a lot of pubs of it. In fact, he played 5 matches recently.
Oh, yeah.
Only lost 1 of them.
Amazing
So
what
he's
you'll
been
find
practicing
in
the
that.
Weaver, had to feel good about it going into this series, and they had a great start. They still have a big lead. Gaming Gladiators still control this game, no doubt about it. It's just they've given a window, an opening for Evil Geniuses to now strike.
They're amplifying the BKB timing, right? Now you have BKB done on Whisper and on C-Smile, and then you can push towards
What
your
need have
next
I
item for
been
Bakaz, which is going to be the Hurricane Pike. So these heroes on EG are tanking up, where that was your Bloodstone timing for Ace, and he just got melted through it. So he's going to go into like Bot's Lotus here on the Bristleback. He's not really getting too much tankier in the next few minutes here for EG if you end up in another fight if you're gaming. So it's going to come down to Dyrachyo and the BKB he picks up on the Weaver. That's going to limit the amount of burst EG can pump into the Weaver, and it pretty much should guarantee him a time lapse here. At least a better time lapse than getting these fights. Getting forced out early, generally not what you want. He'll lead the charge. Wants to put it to use here. Still looking for Deso charges as well.
Now, the potential Roshan spawn time has started, so both teams are going to be thinking about Roshan. Gaming Gladiators probably a bit more than EG, but EG can finally contest. Felt like that first one was probably too much for them, but this feels like a Roshan they can actually fight
Dyrachyo? This is a dangerous game, man. You're showing all these waves versus a Blink Echo Slam Shaker alone. You don't know if C-Smile's there ready to pull the trigger, and he'll have to time lapse out. It's really a game about who bursts, who off the jump, who's tanky enough to survive it. The Hurricane Pike on Bakaz, like we're seeing here, it's an interesting item choice, right? I think you have options of going Manta, for example. The Dispel's pretty solid. This is going to be a lot tankier. The Hurricane Pike is also super nice in this game versus the Bristleback, or even some of the Weaver and Pango later on in the fight. Recreate some space, get you another Shadow Realm.
Sure.
Kind of like the idea. I mean, it's also a standard itemization for Willow. Absolutely nothing wrong with it here.
He is going to need to start speeding along. He's got to get the BKB, he feels like, next, but then Octarine, super important to hit with that level 20 timing. So you can have that kind of near perma Shadow Realm obnoxiousness.
That's what it's all about. Late game Octarine plus neutral item for extra cooldown reduction. Just get permanent Shadow Realm, then you're a god.
I like this a little bit of efficiency. They stacked up the Ancients so they could clear it out at 27 minutes. So they go into the smoke with tier 3 items right as they spawn.
I mean, of course, you're still going to stick with the Grove, though.
Yeah, that is definitely true. God's going to stick with that one for quite some time.
Yeah, it'll be smoke on smoke. Gaming, they're just going to beat him up here. They want the next Roshan. Remember, that Roshan happened super early. The next one's even more valuable, and I'm gonna run into him.
Take it running instantly, goes straight for Dyrachyo. The chain's done, gone to lane.
Hit it up.
For a moment, but no BKB. Dyrachyo now gone.
Buyback time left.
Oh no, Quinn got himself stuck on the cliff, and he can't actually chase after Bakaz. Bakaz who's stuck in this dead end. They have to get on top of him now, but now the Shadow Realm TP will
get out.
No stuns, he's getting out. Oh no, a buyback from Gaming Gladiators that now puts them at a point where they can't immediately capitalize. They do manage to get Panda, so there will be one member down at the side of Evil Geniuses. We'll see whether or not he buys back to contest this Roshan, or if this is enough space for Gaming Gladiators to just go for it.
Got Matthew's buyback as well, but of course it cost you Dyrachyo's here. He time lapse back in, used the BKB and found nothing in that entire fight. He gets jumped once more. You're going to feel good about getting this Roshan, but not nearly as good as you would have felt getting for free. And they'll put the Aegis on the Weaver here. Not a bad choice, right? I mean, at some point, you're just going to have to make sure you can man up and play the fight aggressively. Wear through these ultimates. The saves and the disruption have not been enough to buy him the time for the time lapse.
Yep. Ace is still having a fantastic time in these fights, though, and he's now completed a Lotus Orb on top of the Bloodstone, Aghanim Scepter, and Boots of Travel. So they're going to make sure they can keep playing the map and try and keep Evil Geniuses from being able to expand too far out there. They're just going to be locked inside the base.
And that's the thing. Like, EG, they're playing these fights in a way where you're shutting down Dyrachyo. I mean, it's a tri-core lineup. Like, all these cores are scaling pretty hard. They all have good synergy. Sure, you kill the Weaver, but if it costs you too much, can you actually win that fight afterwards? And the only real consistent damage they have going in these later portions is the Dark Willow. At some point, Pakaz has to be able to stand there and win them that long fight, kill multiple cores after they commit Echo Slam, you know, Solar Guardian onto Dyrachyo. Right. So you're saying Ace is big, and yeah, he is big and bad.
Now they are going to be going, I was wondering, where's the break mechanic come in? Because you're right, they haven't really been addressing this Bristleback all too much. We're going to go for a Shadow Blade on the Earthshaker. We'll see whether or not he completes out the full out Silver Edge. Obviously, Shadow Blade, the invisibility is super important.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going full Silver Edge here. I feel like they're aiming more just for the Tusk Axe. That's something that can shift the way these fights are played. Displace one of these, especially Ace on the front line, displace him into your burst. That's a very different scenario. So that is something Gaming are racing against here. I mean, they're not racing, right? They're still 15k up. They are controlling the whole map, cruising through this game. Still have Aegis for 3 minutes. Could very well just be a high ground force here.
I think they should, because I'm looking at Matthew, and he's got an Aghanim Scepter queued up.
Yes, so
you do not want to be trying to still break the high ground when you're dealing with Aghanim's Tusk. So I definitely want to take that advantage. At least get yourself 1 or 2 lanes of barracks before that item comes up.
It would feel nice to go high ground here, especially with Weaver just hitting level 20. We're talking about this hero scaling. I mean, this is one of the big timings, right? Plus, he on the Gemini has the shard as well.
That kind of flat damage buff is going to be super impactful in this window right here. Meanwhile, we don't have the armor items. Whisper's trying to go for the AC, which would help a lot against all this physical damage and minus armor, but not there yet.
Still EG, they have both supports out on the map. Doing a decent job of holding this network even while the space is really limited. This is way better than being stuck in your base right now. And it is a tough high ground to crack. You have Tusk Shard, you have Fissure that can block people off on the ramp, isolate a hero. Somebody gets bursted, then you go back and fountain heal. It's definitely not the easiest high ground, particularly for a Weaver who, as we've seen, is pretty burstable this game. See another solo Tormentor from Ace.
Yeah, who wants it this time? Oh, they already have all of them.
Nobody. Goes to us.
Nice. What's your shard, though?
You get to listen to people. Very powerful shard.
Quinn, gonna get some chain stuns here. BKB is available. Do you have anything to stop BKB TP away? No, not yet anyway. And it doesn't look like anybody, I don't see anybody going for anything. Like Quinn's going Octarine, not Basher, and Bristleback is going to be going for Akaya, so that is going to be a problem.
Nothing in the short term. It'll only be the Basher on Pango later. Quinn opts for it. Satanic for the Weaver, definitely nice here. Now you're suddenly 3,000 HP. Way harder to burst them off the magical damage.
We're getting to the final 60 seconds of that Aegis, so now has got to be the time for Gaming Gladiators. Pull that trigger and at least try and see what they can do.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, we tried.
Good effort, guys. It's okay, Satanic will heal him up instantly. And, well, they got the living armor on the bottom tower. Do you want to go hit mid instead?
I just don't think you can force the high ground here. You don't have a great way to siege it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess like, what's the point of chipping away at that tower if it's just going to be healed up by living armor?
Exactly.
Anyway?
You'd rather just build the lead and farm the map, play for the third Roshan, or at least a team fight that EG is probably going to bring to you. And yeah, you can catch the supports on the map because Matthew has been getting away with a lot right now.
That is a good item to take out of their hands for a while. Matthew does blink back into the range of Tofu. He does have enough mana. Tornado is going to be used. Is there any more disables left from Tofu? Use a lot of them, and oh, the damage just enough. Matthew almost got away with Courier Murder there, but does ultimately get murked 22-18 with an 18,000 net worth lead for Gaming Gladiators. Finally putting a stop to the supports that are farming out on the map.
This is going to become a real test of Dark Willow carry right now. How strong do you think this hero is? Because we've basically seen Gaming exploit a lot of the weaknesses of it, right? The slow pace, the inability to defend your towers or join these early fights. The fact that when you lose a lot of these neutral camps, I mean, for any carry, it's really bad. For Dark Willow, the Midas doesn't feel great. Kaz just had a very slow game.
Decent amount of AoE damage.
Yeah, so now's your time to pay it back and show why this hero is a late game powerhouse. It's gonna happen soon.
Gonna try and get some revenge for Tofu. Rolling around here, they do have the vision of Bakaz. Are they going to focus him down, though? Another Shadow Realm going to be popped. Definitely gets terrorized. Instant BKB from dota2, who wants this kill, and he wants it bad. He couldn't get it in the last engagement. BKB, plus they have the Dawnbreaker ultimate coming in. Neither goes for Quinn, though. Quinn going to be the target. Swashbuckles away from that final hit from Whisper. Because still in trouble, and his BKB is now down. What does he do? Cheap away. C-Smile, same thing here. Oh, he barely gets out. Oh, man, that was a close one.
The Gemini hits off this Weaver when you get minus armor down. There's no saving you. I'm surprised that he should get out of there with everybody.
Yeah, I think that was just the Shadow Blade that got him away ultimately.
Dota2 is having a tough time sneaking on the targets here. I mean, yeah, that is the one downside of gaming's line. There's not a huge amount of lockdown and control. It's kind of just, you just want to run into EG, slay him with the right clicks here. Yep. Outside of Tofu. And Tofu, he's doing his best, but hard to control this Dark Willow in the Shadow Realm right now when your only real AoE spell outside of the Invoker is the Rolling Thunder, and they've been jumping Quinn. Did get the cheese out of Quinn on that as well. So technically, you know, you got through one life there.
Kinda. I like what Tofu's doing right now. He's just like hunting, right? Just goes walking, run around at high movement speed. He's got a gem as well, so he runs into, say, the Earthshaker with invisibility, or he finds some sort of ward. He's constantly checking for vision to make sure evil geniuses do not feel safe pushing outside of base. And again, trying to limit somebody very important here, Matthew. Still 1,000 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter. It's looking like Gaming Gladiators, I think they're likely to get the third Roshan, but it means they're also probably going to be facing up against the Walrus Kick high ground.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think the Walrus Kick is really nice for stalling the game, but it doesn't help you in that Roshan fight, I think, especially if it ends up being Dire side, where gaming can just abuse buybacks.
Is under attack.
Again, there has to be at some point more consistent damage coming out from EG so they can win a longer fight. Otherwise, I think gaming are going to be happy to throw lives and then just take the longer extension.
Sure.
Win it off that.
I almost wonder if evil geniuses, I'm sure they are going to contest Roshan, but I almost feel like it would be better for them just to say, go ahead, take the Aegis, try the high ground, see what happens.
It is a route you can go. Again, that comes down to your conceptual understanding of Dark Willow right now. Yep. Just how hard does zero scale in this particular game. Silver Edge for Bakaz is definitely going to up the capability in the fight, especially versus Ace here. More attack speed, more damage, crits, everything adds up, and hey, Walrus Kick online for Matthew. He eventually grinded it out in this game. The lead has been built at 22,000 gold for gaming, but he eventually found some space, which is going to change how these fights operate. And I mean, you've got to just instantly go to the fight here, right? If you want to get a fight in, maybe force some buybacks, set yourself up for the Roshan, which is going to spawn as soon as you know it. Now's the time. It'll be a smoke from EG to try and find something on the map.
It is a powerful tool to be sure, but is it enough to cut through a 23,000 net worth lead for Gaming Gladiators in this Roshan fight that's going to be coming up? 45 seconds until Roshan spawns. Both teams going to be playing for it throughout this 3 minutes. Dyrachyo, he just completed his data list. We also have some tier 4 items. Very important, Spell Prism on the Dark Willow, so he may not have the Octarine, but he's got the next best thing, a free 12% TDR.
ER is always what you want on this hero, especially with the talents coming out. Even closing in on some big ones too, but they're not there yet. They're level 24 on Dyrachyo. Something to note, he went the Ascetics cap here. Okay. This could be really big in the fight because you might not expect the extra status resistance on the jump trying to burst this Weaver, and suddenly he lives with 3,400 HP.
If he's the one that gets targeted.
Well, I mean, it's Dyrachyo, so he's got to be in there.
That means Dyrachyo does have to, like, really aggressively go in. Otherwise, I think if they get the initiation on Quinn, then things are probably a lot better for EG in that regard.
They have to find the Pango the Weaver. There's not really a way around it because Ace is just way too big. He just finished hard. 4,600 HP right now. He also finished this assault here on Whisper.
Dies fast.
Yeah, it's gone. This is just an impossible contest. I mean, how do you even get an angle in here, right?
Okay, so evil geniuses do not contest this Roshan. They are going to have all of their resources for a high ground defense, and we'll see what Gaming Gladiators, what their strategy is to break this high ground.
This is a go high ground Aegis. You have everything you need. Not much is going to change in terms of how these fights are going for you. So you have to devise a plan right now and think about it. Understand someone is getting kicked in. There's potential to fissure block the ramp. You're going into Overgrowth. You're going into Maresca. The pack. It's going to have almost permanent Shadow Realm. You can't get off because he's going to kill you in these long fights at this point. Damage is creeping up there.
Other big items coming in soon. Sea Smile working towards an Aghanim Scepter. The Silver Edge is going to be on the side of the Dark Willow instead. And the Assault Cuirass we already talked about for Dawnbreaker.
Continuing to grow.
I mean, is there something you see that Game of Gladiators want to wait for right now? Or is it they're just waiting for a better opportunity?
You can wait for more items on Quinn. Pango still has a lot of room to evolve. In a sense, you can wait for some of these level 25 talents if you really feel like they make the difference. But honestly, I don't think much changes about how the fight is going to go, right? It's just a question of, are you jumping the right heroes on EG? Do you see them? Or are you willing to just let them sit in base until you have 50k gold lead?
Yeah, why not?
That's what Tundra would say.
Best way to siege base is perhaps just building more war engines. There's the kickback, first one of the game.
And there's a time lapse.
And an immediate time lapse from dota2, who's still playing a little forward here.
The thing is, you're happy to trade that if you're Matthew.
Yeah, they're getting damage on all three of these tier 3 towers right now. They know that evil geniuses are strongest when there is just one lane being pushed in. There's the kickback again. Ace gonna be in some trouble. He's gonna be pulled in with the snowball. Quinn's gonna try and rescue him though. With this rolling thunder, Ace has his loaded sword still protecting. He's gonna run out of here. Quinn, same thing. He's gonna roll on out away from this base. How much damage have he really done? Overgrowth is actually gonna be used on Quinn. It's gonna be in big trouble. Tornado comes through. He's not enough to save him. No, he ends up falling. Causing half health, trying to get away from dota2, who is carrying through these heroes right now. Snowball pickup, picks up Whisper. He's gonna be pulled out of position though. Blink away. Nice. Whisper over to the side here. Can he get back to the fountain? He's right from this one. Ace, yes, he's Quill's 2-man to finish him off, but he's at half health right now deep inside the enemy base. The rest of his team though, Game and Gladiators, focused on the objectives.
Yeah, screw the heroes. These buildings are a way easier target right now. You still have Aegis on dota2. They ate the cheese. There'll be a buyback from EG.
Bristleback is dead! They see the opportunity. 1 small second is all it takes to be able to finish off. C-Small. Oh, what health! What is incident? It might be enough damage. It's going to fall all the way to the back button, but it's not quite enough. Now the damage starts raining in. A kickback. 1 life down for dota2. Can they throw it again? It's going to try and wash him, but not quite landing. Time lapse to get the other position, but there is Matthew on the other side. Too many stuns. Game and Gladiators are not able to break evil geniuses on the high ground.
They get a tier 3 and that's it because they split the difference here, and the kickbacks are just devastating for Alliance. They can't take the fight super deep. All the BKBs got wasted really early there. Man, the supports from EG doing work in these high ground holds. Their spells are so annoying between the overgrowth, the kick, the shards, the snowball saves from Matthew, right? I mean, he is MVP in this for sure right now. He gets multiple cores out on the brink of death. It's a nice mechanism, right? Even if you get kicked in, you stall it out, and then you just go from there.
Let's go ahead and take a quick listen in onto the Game of Gladiators side after that fight.
Dire are scanning.
Great insight there. Game of Gladiators saying, yeah, we were overly focused on the barracks. We're trying to end this now. We don't need to, guys. You can play it slow. And you said you could just go ahead and wait it out. Get a 50,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in the sense that if you get a lane of racks in this game, does anything change? No.
Probably not. No.
The way you win this game is you need to kill EG's heroes. You have to win them in a team fight. And, I mean, a lot of times you're going to get baited on this racks and give them a good team fight out of it. And right now, all of a sudden, EG out on the map, right? Still 40 seconds for dota2 to come back up. But they're getting a lot of net worth out of this, a lot of breathing room, and Ags on C-Smile. A blink on Whisper to make sure this Starbreaker gets applied correctly. And he also has that Starbreaker cooldown. This is a 6-second Starbreaker on a Dawnbreaker with Deso AC plus the shard. I mean, you get 3 or 4 of these off in a fight, it's hard to lose it, right?
Yeah, because is not the only damage dealer in town.
Exactly. Some of the hidden scale for EG is starting to show itself, and of course Makaz working towards that 6 slots Moon Shard.
What, we're talking about the damage
in the backpack.
Dawnbreaker, but what is, he's going for a Scythe of Ice.
Wow, you gotta balance. I mean, not everybody carries it.
Okay, so we get a little bit extra control. I mean, I could see it, right? You get the Echo Slam, you follow it up. with the Solar Guardian, you land, you then can sight the bystander. Like, it is a ton of chain stun
That's a good set.
when you choose to jump on somebody.
I mean, he probably asked what he should build, you know, because yo, chill out, Whisperling. I'm still a carry. Huh? Don't kill him all, man.
Speaking of because, he is getting close to level 25, which is pretty
Radiant's
big.
courier
100
has
attack
been
speed
killed.
for a hero that is
nice.
already pumping out serious damage.
I mean, you get the attack speed, you get a moon shard, you get a pirate hat, and how much do you need? At a certain point, it's too much. They're valuable talents. And of course, a lot of these fights, I feel like, still come down to Matthew. I mean, Matthew has been, to me, the linchpin of the EG for a long time. He's the biggest shot caller. He's their drafter. He understands how these fights are going to go. But he's really what sets the fight up, right? If you get the good punch kickback into the burst, if you get the big snowball saves, that's what's winning EG these fights. Maybe they have enough firepower to just take it straight up, but you're still looking at a 24K deficit. You're still looking at 3 cores for gaming that are on top here, and all continuing to scale.
Game of Gladiators, you could see what they were talking about. They're definitely playing it a lot slower, but it's also because they've given Evil Geniuses a chance. The game has changed quite significantly, where EG is no longer holed up inside of their base, whether it's just purely because of the map push that they've gotten, or also just confidence. They are not hiding.
It's time to smoke.
Or maybe they're hiding right now. They are pushing back to their base at the right time. Two Game of Gladiators have gone for a 5-man smoke.
I mean, double damage on Duracio. That's what's here. Well, Ace is going to TP top, so I feel like they're not going to find anybody here. Want to get all the lanes and off this smoke. The Idol is completed for Duracio as well, by the way, so this is about as strong as Weaver's going to get. There's not much left in the tank, right?
Yeah.
Now, since it's a carry that can operate without boots, that's the number one nice
But he did see Smile. Goes invisible.
No detection.
Need the help of Tofu to catch him. T-Smile, it's already too far away. Maybe a slight error there from Game of Gladiators having Ace lead, but he's also the person if you're going to run into 5 heroes of EG, you want him on the front line, so.
I mean, to me, this game is almost even because so much of the net worth for gaming is on these supports, but can you use it, right?
Yeah.
Can Tofu and Celery have the impact they normally would have in a game? I mean, how many of these heroes are you going to be able to just sit there and rain and the impetus is on? You can't touch the Dark Willow. Might not see the Shaker. There's snowball saves that can disjoint. Like,
And maybe part of the reason he's not so focused on trying to scale up, he took a pit stop and went for more utility. He picked up Lincoln, so that's going to try and combat some of that.
I mean, that is not a moon shard, so that tells you all you need to know.
Exactly, because how many moon shards is too many on Dark Willow?
2.
Okay, well, he was thinking about the second one, but he's now backed away for set a swift blink.
He's also getting close to being slotted here.
Yeah.
Also pick up his level 25 talent, and I mean, we're at 47 minutes. This game goes to 60. You're going to get the next set of neutral items. And it might go that distance, because we've seen EG be very patient about holding the high grounds going into these late games, right? They are a team that has had mega creep comebacks. They are a team that has been there with us at that point, in fact. With some of their members, at least. The game could definitely go in that direction. You get very weird at this point, because you're maxing out. And finally, a Tormentor goes down for EG. Their first of the game, right? I think all the others have gone to Ace.
Yeah, is there any shards that they really would have liked? I guess the ice shards is kind of annoying. The upgraded ice shards. Who cares about the Curse Crown upgrade for Rakaz? Fisher's a nice upgrade, I guess.
That Dark Willow shard is nice, but yeah, you're not in a range to use it a lot of times.
Yeah, not a carry Dark Willow.
No. Actually, it's probably bad because you're just inflating your network.
That's actually a good point. Minute and a half left until Roshan is up. And now, it could be up right now. Evil Geniuses are not in a position to play for it. Do you think they're giving this up again?
This is a Roshan you can start to think about fighting for sure. I think you have a lot more staying power if you can keep the Dawnbreaker alive, especially, and you're just looking to get that 6-second Starbreaker with the Hex. It's a lot of control, a lot of burst that doesn't necessarily rely on the big Echo Slam anymore. That's the valuable part of this Hex, right? You can go and find the Weaver, find the Pango, Hex him up in a Starbreaker with like a totem follow-up and tag team. That might be enough. Then all of a sudden you can hold your BKBs, hold an Echo Slam, start to take that longer fight that's been the problem the whole game, that I think still favors gaming for sure. That's when the support net worth on gaming side really comes into play. If you get stuck in a Roshan fight with buybacks, your BKBs are down, you're just taking man fights into these gaming cores, all of a sudden the two supports are going to make that a world of pain. I don't know. That Roche fight, it's a very tough fight for EG to take, but it is starting to get doable.
You know, looking forward, we're talking a lot about this game and how it's going to progress, but just thinking about this game, no matter what happens in this game, thinking about the series, I feel like the composure that these two teams show and who ends up making that final mistake in the game, I think it's super important for the series because it does look like this is going to be a marathon. Game one is anyway.
And you're at the brink of elimination. You can't make mistakes right now. The TI pressure is going to start to get to you here. And it can't come down to one team fight which determines the game, which might determine a series.
Hey, for the first time, Evil Geniuses will have a chance to play for Roshan on their favorite side of the map. Radiant side.
This is very good for them, right? We're talking about these extended fights. Well, if you don't have to do it into the buybacks that are instantly there, you feel way better about that. Because all of a sudden, yours might not be too bad. Especially if Whisper goes down, you just buy, you can instantly Skull or Guardian straight back into the fight. You don't even need to wait for that long TP. There's some global capability here for EG. We're talking about the buybacks. I mean, which are even up right now. It's everybody but Celery.
Everybody but Celery.
So yeah, this is going to be a straight 10 on 10.
And here comes the big man himself. Over to the Roshan side he goes. Evil Genius is ready to play for it, but Gaming Gladiators show up just in time. Contest, a 5-man smoke. They're going to wrap around.
Send the Skellies in.
Get some idea. Okay, somebody from Evil Geniuses is home. Where are they at?
Any amount of vision. Look what you're looking for here, so you can get the jump. Look at the wrap, man. See Smiles up so far.
But they're also prepared for this. Celery is in a position to break it with a very deep ward sentry combo there on the far left. But if Game of Gladiators don't see this coming on the right-hand side, oh, they spotted Celery. Okay, he's going to be done. Oh, that's point. He's managing to get away a little bit of distance. They couldn't finish him off, and now they go straight for Kaz. They try and get the Rolling Thunder on top of him. They force the BKB usage out of him. Evil Geniuses are trying to reset right now, but the Rolling Thunder is constantly in their face. Whisper blinking over, knows he needs to be able to help out. There's Dark Willow. They do it. They blow him up. Boom, he's gone. Duracio's dead, but they get T-Smile in exchange, and Evil Genius is now on the run.
You have to play for the buybacks here. You have to regroup if you're both teams in a sense.
They've lost sight of because with that Shadow Blade, he's getting away. 5 seconds for Matthew, but he's now been caught by the bugs. Can he get this snowball blink away? It is unlikely. Trying to cover him with the tornado, but there's nowhere he can blink far enough. He will be caught by this as well. Gaming Gladiators with that extra pickoff, especially since C-Smile didn't buy back right away. It's looking like Roshan is theirs to take for the 4th time.
EG does not want to buy back 2 heroes into running through the vision, running through the Invoker to try and take that. That'll be the bash are done for the Pangoleir. The Rolling Thunder did a lot of work that fight. A lot of the damage came out from Duraccio. A lot of it was into Picaz, who ended up living. And he just gets bursted down. Another time-lapse buyback forced out of the Weaver, but he'll get it back with the Aegis here. So a pretty acceptable outcome if you're gaming right. Especially with the fact that Celery broke that smoke and lived off of 1 hit.
Okay, so Tofu does consume that Aghanim's Blessing. So we've now got the Sunstrike, double Cataclysm going on.
Yeah, you know, the best stunts to use it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hey, never know.
Depends what Quinn can get for them, I suppose.
Yeah, the old dash into Cataclysm. But once more, you are faced with this high ground. And a almost permanent uptime Shadow Realm. Couple seconds here. We'll get the early game.
Going to be put to use here. Ace heals himself up with the Bloodstone. Dawnbreaker landing in. The damage is not the best. They do try and break him again, but Ace is just causing enough distraction. Whisper now tries to go in, but the Barracks is already gone, and he's going to have to jump away. They managed to get the sight onto the Weaver. Force Staff getting him some distance, and that is just enough outside of the sight of the Dark Willow. Couldn't complete it. Couldn't take away that Aegis. And Gaming Gladiators can now keep up the pressure.
So that's EG trading a Rax to keep Matthew's buyback here. That is how much they value the Tuskar in these fights. Kind of agree with it, right? I mean, you can just buy the Tusk there and take that fight. But like we heard, the Rax doesn't mean much at this point in the game, especially when you have a Dawn who can just clean up the lane anyway. They will retain all their buybacks outside of Pandas, which they traded for Duraccio's, and Aegis up for 3.5 minutes here. So you're going to have a 2-minute differential where you don't have Duraccio's buyback and your Aegis expires. So if you're gaming, you kind of want to use this Aegis. On the flip side, if it goes really wrong like it did the first time,
like if he dies after being picked deep inside the base,
it's pretty terrifying, right?
It's going to be so important in how they use these Lotus Orbs and Lincolns to protect that hero.
We are almost at 40,000 gold lead, but it doesn't matter if you get kicked.
Can you get the chainsaw? Not quite enough. The snowball is put onto him, and Delacio already used the time lapse, so he pulls Matthew back, and now Matthew may be forced to use that buyback.
Really nice grab for gaming. That is what they want, because now you're putting them in a position where if Matthew dies again, this high ground just gets broken entirely. That's it, because he's just raining down hellfire right
he's
now.
going to get on top of Because right now, but the force snap does get him a little bit of distance with the side device. Now they get the terrorize on him. That's going to be the first life, and no, he does fall.
And get Matthew's buy.
Matthew, can he get the kick in on the revive? Delacio instantly pops BKB. C-Smile looks to jump forward, pops Bkb, but Delacio popping his own BKB to go for Quinn instead. Now with the kickback on him, they blow him up instead. Ace coming in deep, and look at the picture. He's blocked off right now. With his BKB, he can protect himself with immediate refresher. C-Smile trying to get out, but Panda was in deep.
Because
sees the opportunity. He jumps straight in, takes out Delacio. Panda gave him an opportunity, and Because goes straight for the throne. Now he's going to finish up both Ace as well. The Blitz, C-Smile. He gets C-Smile. He gets something out of it, but he still falls.
How much can EG get off of 100 seconds with no Weaver, and they know it? That's the smile kill.
He's got mangoes coming in from the courier. Because is like, I cannot take any moments to go back to the base. I have to maximize this 90 seconds.
I agree. Every second matters here if you are EG. You have potential to throw gaming back if you get a good fight out of it.
There's an arcane rune up there.
That is the Dark Willow dream right now. Because sees it, but he's not going to see it. Oh, a missed opportunity in the night, and they will just push down the lane. I mean, this is not an easy push either, right? Because you know the rest of the buybacks are up for gaming. Yeah, you can equally throw it straight back their way here. Daedalus completed for Because, blinded in now. Can eat that moon shard and finish it up. And man, he is hitting so damn hard in these fights. Nobody survives a full burst from the Shadow Realm if they're stunned for the duration of it.
It's the Aghanim Scepter, now a Daedalus. Good cut though. Tofu is going to be cutting the wave here.
Yeah, it's gone. They have no other free.
Evil Genius is not protecting their waves. A massive push coming in at bottom. It looks like they may not even be able to get a single lane of barracks out of this.
Skelly Boys, meanwhile, are cleaning up a tier 3.
They're going to take the tier 3 tower.
Who's pushing who here? You got nothing out of that. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you got the Dark Troll Summoner, but you got absolutely nothing out of that if you're EG. Though, you did feel good about winning that team fight, and it only cost you Matthew's buy for another Aegis high ground push that does not end this game. So if you're gaming, it feels like you're getting frustrated at this point, right? You have 30, 40k gold, you have Aegis, you have refresher shards, you have cheese. You're just not getting enough out of it. Maybe you just need more Lincoln Spheres, I don't know.
I mean, we've seen that before. We've seen 4 or 5 Lincolns all being put onto one hero just to try and protect against this.
Just try and stop something about how these initiations are going. We do have another Lincolns on Tofu. We have a Lincolns now on Delacio. So yeah, I guess they agree with the assessment. Just start massing Lincolns here.
Yep. Now, it's going to be an interesting note because that buyback cooldown is going to be up in 2 minutes. Another minute after that, and we have 60-minute items. So is Evil Geniuses going to be able to get their 60-minute items, or is Gaming Gladiators going to be able to take control of the map like they've done for pretty much 80% of this game?
It's interesting. I mean, Gaming could try and push up and play off of it. You know you don't have this Matthew buyback, so if you find the Tusk, I almost feel like that's one of the most important ones to take out here, because you're not going to find Because without buyback in this game, right? It's probably just not going to happen when she plays so far back, and he has so much damn gold to play with here.
That's for me.
Because who is 9-3 and 12. He was pressured pretty early, but throughout this later game, I feel like he's done a very good job in keeping it clean. Whisper even more so, 7-1 in 15, 1 death.
Only 1 death for him, who's been going into the middle of these fights. Played this game very damn well, and a lot of these fights are also coming down to kiting Ace, making sure there's not a hero around him that heals, because Because will kill the Bristleback incredibly fast if there's nothing to Bloodstone heal off. That's how this matchup's supposed to work.
As much as we're setting this up as the potential of the Evil Geniuses coming back, they could just slip up in the next fight and get Megas. They have to keep a constant composure in this game. Amazing. Calm, cool, and collected, Brad. 1.5 minutes
those
left.
Those days are long gone.
1.5 minutes left until we get the 60-minute items. Those are massive. And we're also going to have that Roshan potential spawn time starting at the same point.
Matthews, he's getting to the Tusk dream. You have that Ags, but now you have Aether Lens on top of it. It just makes your life way easier. And full Octarine completed. Of course, he does not have to save for buybacks. It's on cooldown for 3 minutes. So you are looking at some low cooldown spells here, 8 and 6.5 seconds between the kick and the punch, with an Aether Lens cast range and a spell person to back it up. If Matthew's alive, I feel like somebody is dying on Game's side.
The scary
It's
part
almost
is
the highest priority at this point.
we saw in that last fight, especially with the Lincolns, like without a buyback, he has to jump in. He has to somehow get through some of these Lincolns,
right,
get the kickback in the first place. But then even if he gets the kickback, his way to stay alive is snowballing that person. If he does it onto, say, Jirachi, we saw last time, he got the time lapse off. So he has to just kind of free fall and hope that his team catches him. They have to stop Duraccio from being able to get off the time lapse. Otherwise, he's guaranteed death.
It's a risky move. I mean, that's why they prioritize that Tuskar buyback so highly. Yep, they're willing to give a lane for it. Guarantees the first initiation doesn't matter too much. I think that's like one of the pieces missing here for Gaming in terms of all the itemization is a Hex of their own. Just something to give them the chance at the instant Hex on a Blinken. Like, you never know, right? He can mess up the snowball cast, doesn't hit it exactly on time. You have a chance, especially with Invoker being invis all the time. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, you're just maxing it out here. Ex Machina for Duraccio. I mean, take your pick right now, right? But double everything, never bad, and another DD rune to boot. So we are getting into the ultra late game here. 60-minute items, and we'll see what they opt for.
Cataclysm gonna get him some reveal. It's gonna spot Panda, who, with being on disc, is gonna try and walk away. Blink out, but he's gonna be lucky to survive, and he will not.
Yeah, but if you're gonna die on a part of the map, that's where you want to do it.
That's true.
And this will create that space for EG to farm some neutral items.
Yeah, they're getting something out of it. They got the Pirate Hat on the Dark Willow. They got that massive attack. They got the Stygian Desolator on the Dawnbreaker, which is probably the best item for him as well.
That is a really nice pickup for Whisper here.
So funny. I see Panda swap out his neutral item. I'm like, oh, what'd he get? Oh, no, he's just swapping in his Philly Stone. 61 minutes into the game. Need an extra 90 GPM while he's dead. Another, wait, whoa. He actually went for another Stygian Desolator. See, Smile wants to start pumping out some single target damage.
I mean, it makes sense, right? They aren't always going on the same target here, and their individual physical burst means a lot when they're going on these big core targets, especially at the end of these fights. You're cleaning up a Bristleback, you're cleaning up a Weaver. Makes sense to me. These are some nice items for EG. For Gaming, you've got to match it. Ace is deciding what he wants. Still thinking about it. It's just Mirror Shield on Celery. You know, it's okay. Ex Machina for Duraccio is definitely the big one here.
I almost wonder, I wonder
Ace
if
wants
Ace,
to go.
if he has Mirror Shield as an option, maybe you put him in the front to start hitting some of these buildings.
The problem is he just starts getting Shadow Realm.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the problem. They don't have a hero that kills the building fast enough before the cost starts wearing you down.
Well, he is going to be cruising now. Force boots picked up on him.
Okay, so they're just going for the economic advantage, right? Double force boots between Ace and Quinn here means you free up the boot slots.
Yeah, exactly.
Get another item. Put that gold lead to use.
Quick reveal. I mean, we haven't seen any combos of the Cataclysm, but it has done a great job of revealing Evil Geniuses the few times they actually get outside of their base. And it's going to be yet another Roshan. What's the 5th Roshan of the game for Gaming Gladiators?
It'll be an Ag Scepter. Or, I mean, who at this point?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Duraccio ever wants to give a time lapse to anybody else.
Nobody wants it. The rare game. I mean, tough food. You already got one, man.
I'm not sure if Celery wants little friends this late into the game.
Oh, they're going to give it to Quinn so he can eat his own. I sell it back. So, more economic advantage here.
Is there enough gold in the world for Gaming Gladiators to break the seemingly unbreakable Evil Geniuses?
I mean, not really. That's the thing. This game is getting capped.
Yeah.
There's just not that much left to spend on.
Yeah, the biggest thing was like, okay, we can make some minor tweaks, right? It's like 5% here.
Yeah, exactly.
But the 60-minute items, that was the biggest splash we were going to see in a while.
That's where so much of this game came down to the understanding of Dark Willow as a carry, which is not something a lot of these teams are used to. If you're EG, you believe Pakaz will carry this game with the matchups he has no matter what. you were happy with the high ground defense hold strategy. You're just wearing through this lead, and the 30k gold lead at 65 minutes doesn't mean a whole lot. It honestly doesn't mean much here.
One thing to note about this, due to these item choices, we also have now Arcanist armor on Panda, something to note. But it does mean that Evil Geniuses have the pirate hat advantage. We've seen sometimes in these late games, like a bunch of teams.
That's a roll.
Rolling Thunder, they're going to go straight forward here with the armor. He gets off the Shadow Realm on because has the kick. He got the kickback, and there's the burst. That's an Aegis, yes, but it's also Weaver in an awkward position. You get a time lapse, you get a BKB, he does both. They got a second lane of barracks, but again, does that change anything?
I mean, 30 minutes ago, it was don't focus the racks. At this point, it almost feels like kill the racks before somebody else gets kicked in and get the hell out. The times have changed.
But the scary part is, what if they get Megas? Then they have to hit tier 4s. Then you're just even closer to being kicked into the fountain. They actually went outside their base, though. Evil Geniuses decide to go and fight aggressively into him, and they have BB-8. Ace in trouble. Got him on the overgrowth. C-Smile chasing after him, but he's only got the floats out heal. Back up the full. C-Smile trying to get out of here. Duraccio chasing after him is going to bring him down. Big crest coming in. Massive damage. A Sunstrike right in the edge, but Whisper well meant to be away, and because
he
not for
evaporates.
once.
They find the Dark Willow, take the damage out of the fight, force a Shaker buyback. Matthew somehow survived off the Octarine cooldowns on the Snowball without an
Evil
Aegis.
Geniuses who break ranks first. They were the ones who were holding this high ground for so long. They decided to take a fight outside of it, and it immediately goes bad.
That was the weird opportunity to choose it, right? That was just an awkward go up the hill from Whisper that it ended up being super deep. You almost get the bristle back, but it ends up just being too far. You overextend, show your backline, and the second Duraccio finds Bakaz, I mean, I'm sure he enjoyed that kill with some crits.
Oh, yeah.
He has been getting pummeled the whole game, but finds his revenge. And now, no buyback on 2 EG cores. You know Gaming want to press the advantage here.
Quinn's got an idea, which is Rolling Thunder goes straight into the enemy and just create some space. Now he's taking a ton of damage. He's got to be careful of this. One, see if he can roll away before the Shadow Realm. The second round comes in. He does manage to get out. They get a tier 3. Oh, they got Matthew. Oh, Matthew being pulled away.
Who's kicking who?
He is going to have to lose his buyback here.
And Quinn's back in the base.
Quinn, yeah, Quinn. As long as Quinn doesn't die here, this is all space, but the final hit. Oh, the tower. Oh, so close. But Quinn stays alive.
You gotta be careful, son. That Rolling Thunder is not protecting you anymore.
And the buildings are dying.
And by the way, we have a Divine disassembled on Whisper right now. He can assemble that at any point in this fight.
He sees the opportunity for a big hit. It might not be because you have to worry about.
This Starbreaker is going to launch you into the next game right here if it connects. But that's the big question. Can you connect it right now if you're Whisper? And at which point do you assemble Divine right now? Still 3 buybacks down for EG. They got Matthews out of all that when it was said and done. So once more, if you're Gaming, you must throw yourselves into the breach. You must press the advantage here.
And maybe they only need to do it one more time to get the Megas once more into the breach. Whisper does have that Divine ready to go.
He is not going to pick the time.
Crits. A second one queued up already.
Surprised that Gaming are giving him the breather and waiting. Okay, there's the Hex on Tofu. So that is the big item I was thinking was going to come out earlier. This is really nice because Tofu can basically be ghost walked on the back end of a fight or whatever and instantly catch up Lincoln off one of these cores if you don't preemptively BKB. Especially even in the longer fights, it's huge for locking down Bakaz out of a Shadow Realm. You've got 2 seconds to find him between.
I mean, if he's fast enough, what if he catches Matthew on the blinker?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It can absolutely turn these fights, especially when there's no buybacks on EG's side. This is them being pushed to the limit here in game 1.
Another Rolling Thunder. Here it comes, the initiation. What is EG going to be able to do about this? Their building is going to be hit.
Take the rack.
Doesn't seem to be much they can do to stop it. Panda's going to jump in with the overgrowth, trying to slow this down with the Glyph also being used. Terrorize trying to push him away with the BKBs. Gaming Gladiators committed to getting the Megas, but can they get out now? C-Smile makes the jump in. Not quite enough to finish on Tofu, but here comes Whisper. Looks to finish him off. Oh no, don't bounce back. That's keeping Tofu alive. Oh, Whisper is Divine Rapier is in trouble and he gets burst down by Duracio. Divine on the deck because now fighting to keep them in the game as Evil Geniuses are going to be limping along here. A massive network deficit. Vegas, see smile.
Round 2.
It's an opportunity. The Hex, the Hex doesn't save him. No, Because puts him down, but Whisper will fall for a second time. 3 dead with no buybacks. Makes that a 4th. Panda can buy back, but it's Panda and Because the P duel against Game and Gladiators as a full 5 stack.
And the tip from Duracio, it may have had me early, but in the ultra late, there can only be one. Double Hex from the gaming support just broke that high ground fight. And now you have a Divine on Celery. The true carry has
Look at him, he is doing the most damage. Duracio, they just lean into the building. That is going to be it. Evil Geniuses will call it 69 minutes. What a nice game, but Game and Gladiators will close it out and get a Game 1 victory.
Oh man, going into Game 2 here, if you're EG, I mean, what do you go back to, right? Because I feel like this was your game plan. Go to the ultralight with the Dark Willow, with the scaling physical on Whisper, but it ended up just getting shut down by the late game hexes and the overwhelming net worth advantage. And so much of this game